Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Don't know what happened in there. My camera just froze for a moment, so I just unplugged it and plugged it back in again. It's working again now. Hey Carly, how are you doing? Great to see you as always, and Jeff as well. I can't stick your comment up because it came in. You were too trigger happy. It came in before I started, but great to see you here as well, Jeff. Hey, Andreas, nice to see you too. Hello to the future, indeed. We're in the future, but we're behind on some things. We're behind on things like Stream Deck pedals, for example, but I'll chat about that a bit later as well. I hope you're all having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. It's been quite a good week for me this week with YouTube. I felt like I was totally out of my flow for not just a month, I would say probably about 3 months. So I feel like I'm just getting back into it this week. I've just got to keep the momentum up with that. So yes, Jeff, I know you mentioned well done. The flow has started again. It has. I've just got to keep it going now. And yeah, it's been a video a day this week. Technically, I need to be doing 1.5 videos a day to try to catch up with my backlog. But hey, it's a start, isn't it? I'll give you my regular weekly update on my channel progress. At some point, this is going to start getting old, but I am just, in fact, that day may already have passed, but I do just generally on my live streams give a little update on where I am towards my progress, towards my 365 videos in a year goal, and so I will be knocking this on the head on the 15th of May, or 14th of May, which is when my year is officially up. So it is day 260. Week 37, and I have done 196 videos. So the good news is I am no further behind this week, because for the past, as I say, really 3 months, every week I was falling further and further behind, not quite getting my 7 videos in that week. So the good news is I haven't fallen any further behind, but I also haven't made up any. So I've got to I've got to catch up with that a little bit. But I have had the largest sort of jump forward in subscribers this week compared to any other previous week. So normally it's sort of lately it's been around between 30 and 50, something like that. And it was actually 83 this week. So that was quite a jump forward. And in fact, took me 6.5 months to get up to 1,000 subscribers, and then in the last month I've basically added on 250 to that, so the pace is definitely picking up again. And thank you very much to all the lovely people who have subscribed. It still boggles my mind that anybody watches, to be honest with you, but that's my little secret. I've just told you all. So yeah, it's been quite a good month, really, in terms of the sort of progress of the channel and the sort of rate of growth. I suppose it's no surprise, really, that this week I had better results because I was just posting consistently. So I noticed when on the stats, which I'll dig into in a moment, as well as obviously the new viewers to the channel who are just maybe searching, finding videos and things like that I have made previously. Then, of course, people who are subscribed will have seen my videos this week. Some of them, potentially at least. And so it does make sense that this has been a bit of a better week. They have not gone back just yet, but it's tomorrow. So it's a very sad day that they've got to go. But yeah, it's been great having them here for 2 months. And they could have stayed as long as they wanted, as far as I'm concerned. But it's quite long to be away from home and leaving the house in the UK. They just want to get back and check that everything's all right. And who knows, perhaps we'll be heading over there in the summer if all is well in the world and travel restrictions are are eased and it's easy to take a family en masse over there. But yeah, it's been great having them here. And yeah, so hopefully things will return fully to normal, because it's been a bit difficult to be going to bed at my usual ridiculously early time, because I do go to bed quite early. Around about 6:30, I'm thinking, is this too early? And then about 7 o'clock, I'm thinking, right, I'm clear now if I need to go to bed. So, but yeah, with them being here, obviously, I've not necessarily wanted to be going to bed so early and spending some time with them. So yes, everything should be all completely back to normal as of next week in terms of my scheduling. I need my beauty sleep. Thanks, Carly. I appreciate that. It does indeed. How time flies. I can't really believe, in fact, that it's gone so quick, and we're already into February now. We're or more or less. So it does indeed fly. But let's have a little look, shall we, at my stats, which is one of the things I normally do on my live streams, and just have a little dig in. I do like analytics. I'm a bit of a stats geek. So let's have a little look at here. This is for the past 28 days. If I just have a look at my lifetime, which is always a nice graph to look at for me. It's funny the way that it sort of like had these couple of places where it just sort of ramped up and then stayed pretty consistent all the way through here. And then it had another bit of a jump up. And these were usually triggered by some sort of video that I'd created where it caused this sort of step upwards. So this was around about, in fact, they're all related to Elgato, I've got to say. So this was, I think, Stream Deck version 5 came out around about here, was it? Or no, this one was when the Stream Deck software version 5 came out with lots of different updates, and I made a video about that, and I had this sort of spike, and then things picked up a little bit there. This one actually was, I think, was the Ecamm beta. One of the betas caused that spike, and there was some other Elgato announcement around that time as well. And then this spike is basically because of the Elgato foot pedals, which I did a video about that, and yeah, it had quite a good response compared to my other videos. I say quite a good response compared to my other videos. It was like over 2 or 3 times more what I normally get. In fact, let me just have a quick look at how that one's done, because here you can see the views of my videos. This is sort of pretty typical, really. If I, after like a day of a video being up, I've got 127 views, something like that. This one a day earlier, 200 views. This one from the day before that, 196. So these are pretty sort of typical. Oh, am I cutting those off the screen? Hang on, there we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? These are pretty typical views for my videos. But you can see the one with the Stream Deck pedals was 508, just because it is a pretty sort of hot topic, really, having just been released. So yeah, that did get quite a lot of views compared to normal. Incidentally, I don't have the foot pedals yet. I do have some foot pedals, but they're not the Stream Deck foot pedals. I will definitely be getting some, though, because I do like a lot of things about them, as I mentioned in the video, if nobody had seen it. I like, or none of you have seen it, I like the fact that the pedals are themselves 3 distinct pedals, as opposed to, by distinct pedals, I mean, I like the fact that they have got a sort of different shape. The foot pedals that I use, all the pedals look and feel under the feet exactly the same. Hey Paul, great to see you here. Yeah, although all the ones that I've got, all the pedals feel the same. So like if I use them now to, in fact, if I just wave back to Paul like that, and then I press this button on my pedal, it takes the comment down. So generally, I know where they are, but occasionally you can't really, you can't feel from the foot pedals if they've moved or something like that. You can't actually feel just easily which one is which. Whereas with the Elgato foot pedals, because they have got this sort of different shape to them, you can easily know like which one's the middle pedal and the outside too. So I do like that. I also like the different sensitivity that you can have with them as well. So you can change out the springs so that they can, you know, either a light touch or a heavy touch. So I'll be interested to see how that works out. I think I'll probably end up getting 2 of them just because I was going to get another set of these, to be honest. So I'll probably have 2 of those, and then these ones I'm going to totally butcher and make something else, because it is effectively, they've got little switches in them that we can use for triggering different things. So I'm going to make a little something of my own. Hello Lee, great to see you here as well. So let's see. Do I see any usage outside of streaming for Elgato pedals? I do, to be honest, because I use mine, the pedals that I've got, which are, in fact, let me show you. These are mine. If I can just get them just in the screen. I'm looking for my pedal. I was looking for my pedal to take your comment off the screen, and it's just here. There we go. So these are the foot pedals that I've got. The cable is just not quite long enough to show you. I did do a video all about these, but these are just totally generic, non-branded foot pedals. They just say on them, foot switch. But I do use those with Zoom calls and things like that for either muting or unmuting or various different things. I try and commit them to memory, because I don't always succeed at that. I often I often screw it up, but I got lucky this time, Lee. So yeah, I do use the pedals for those things, but I also find that they are useful with just general productivity stuff. If you've got your hand on the mouse and then your hand on the keyboard, or you're typing something and there's things that you need to do, just assigning stuff to them on an ad hoc basis can actually speed things up if you're typing and stuff like that. It's a bit like the Stream Deck. There's things that I would use ordinarily have used keyboard shortcuts for, but they rely on sort of both hands being on the keyboard, depending on what the keyboard shortcut is, to sort of reach across to different things, especially if there's multiple combinations of keys. And so Stream Deck itself just alleviates some of that and means that you can have one hand on the mouse and one hand on the Stream Deck. So there's definitely some use cases for them as well. But I'll be digging into those, because the thing about these pedals that I've got at the moment is it's a bit of a a pain to go and create the, well, not a pain, it's a little bit of a workaround though, to go and create the shortcuts in Keyboard Maestro. Whereas obviously the thing about the Stream Deck pedal is it's just the drag and drop user interface that we're used to. So yeah, definitely going to be looking forward to getting those and giving them a good old try out. And I'll be making a video or two about it. The video that I did make, it was really just, I suppose, it was more of a reaction video. So I just went and literally heard the news, went and looked on the Elgato website, and then I saw that they had made a video themselves. So I went and downloaded the video from the Elgato YouTube channel. I snipped out all the little bits where the Elgato guy was talking, stitched all those together so that I'd got some B-roll of people using the pedals. I did mention this in my video, by the way, but yeah, I didn't let the fact that I hadn't actually got them stop me from making a video. So there we go. Hey, Eileen, and I've got to say, I don't know where it was, but the first notification I got, we're just talking about the Elgato pedal, by the way, Eileen, the first sign that I got that it had been released was a message for you, but I can't find the message. I don't know where it was. Normally it would have been on Twitter, or was it Instagram? But then I went looking for it and I couldn't find it because I saw your message and then went off looking at the Elgato site, and yeah, I couldn't find your message to respond. Oh, it was Instagram, was it? All right, well, thank you very much. Anyway, I was looking for that and I couldn't find it, so I'll have to go back and have another look at what was going wrong there. But yeah. So yeah, I do like it. Are you going to get one, Eileen? Are you interested in another peripheral for your Mac? It is something that's one of those things that I suppose it's a bit like a Stream Deck. When you first think about getting one, maybe you're not quite sure of the use case, but then once you get it, it has a load of uses. And that's certainly what I found with my generic off-brand foot pedals. I think, by the way, the price point, just sticking on to the pedals for a while, I think the price point is pretty reasonable, to be honest, at, what was it, $80, something like that. Yeah, it just does seem about right. I mean, these ones that I've got are nowhere near, I'm sure, the engineering build quality of those. But these were, they're between sort of $20 and $50, I think, on Amazon, depending on which off-brand brand you get. But yeah, I thought the Stream Deck pedal pricing was pretty good. And I did like, as I say, the option to switch out the springs, change the sensitivity and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, definitely looking forward to those as soon as they become available. So that was all a bit of an aside. I was talking about that video that I made about them and how I did get quite a few more views on that, and then that also brought in traffic as well, the most of the traffic from that. So looking at that video and the analytics, usually if you look at the percentage of traffic that's come from YouTube search or Google search, it was significantly higher this time. So obviously people were searching on Google and finding the video that way. So that was quite interesting. But this graph is always interesting to look at. The if you go into the analytics for a specific video, what you can see is the sort of grey patch down at the bottom. That is what typical views, typical videos do over that period of my videos, I should say. And then this one is what that video did. So you can see that it significantly outperformed my regular videos. Hey, Greg, great to see you here. And I got your name right this time. I was just talking to Lee that I don't always get names right. I had an absolute disaster 2 weeks ago. I was getting everyone's name wrong, but great to see you here. So yeah, obviously it did have a significant increase in interest initially when the news first came out. So yeah, that was that. Let's have a little look at some other analytics, shall we? So I've been in the YouTube Partner Program for almost a month, not quite a month. Let's go and have a little look. I'm interested, by the way, Greg. I don't know if you're thinking about getting the Elgato pedals with being in education. It is quite good if you're, doing things like on screen lecturing, want to keep your hands free. So there could be a good use case there. Hey, Aubrey, always great to see you. Let's have a little look where we're at. So, yeah, this is what I'm going to be sort of sharing over the next few months as the channel grows. It's just exactly what it means when people say, about the revenue that you can expect after you've been monetized. So here I'll just be basically sharing what are my views, what's the the revenue that's come from that, and what different areas has it come from. So once I've got a bit more data on this, then I'll be able to dig into sort of advert types and all that sort of stuff. I haven't done anything with the advert types at the moment. It's basically just letting them all run as they are. I'm letting YouTube do everything in terms of ad placement, and so that's definitely some room there to tweak that in terms of you can go in and physically decide exactly where you want the ads within the confines of how many ads you can have in your videos. So I will be doing some tweaking with that and see how things go. So let's have a look. By the way, the my consistent top video week on week, month on month is this one. Basically why profiles are better than folders on Stream Deck, in my opinion, because I did set up my Stream Deck with all nested folders, because that's just the way my mind works, used to a file system. I know that people are going more and more to just using tags to find things and using search to find folders, but I still can't get past a nicely well-structured folder tree on my Mac. Yeah. But so I did a video all about that because I spent ages using folders and then discovered the wonders of profiles instead of folders on Stream Deck. Probably a bit late to the party on that. So I did a video about why I thought that profiles were better than folders, and that is consistently my best video. So in the last 28 days, you can see 3,000 views on that one compared to my next top video this last month, which was 1,200. So yeah, there's that video is definitely a popular one. Let me just remove this little comment. There we go. The bots are out today. So yeah, it's just interesting to see that one has consistent sort of traction. The other one that's interesting is this one. Download internet videos. So that was talking about an app called Downy, which you can get as part of the Setapp bundle. I suppose I should start doing some pictures in here, shouldn't I? So if you're not familiar with Setapp, check this out. Setapp is a monthly subscription service that allows you to get access to over 200 great utility-style apps for the Mac, and you basically just pay one monthly fee of $9.99, and then you get access to this sort of app store that sits on your Mac, and you can go in and just choose and download any of these apps, give them a try, upload them, offload them whenever you're not using them, and there's loads and loads of great apps. I've got quite a few videos on my channel about Setapp apps, so definitely worth a try. And if you go over to takeonetech.io/Setapp, you get the same 1 week free trial as everybody else, but if you go on to sign up to it, then you also get a free month, and I get a free month added on my subscription as well, and that is how their affiliate program works. So definitely give Setapp a try. How was that for a smooth segue? But anyway, so this video that I did about Downy, which was one of the Setapp apps, that one also is quite high, consistently high. But it's interesting, that was the first one of my videos this week where I got a little notice next to it saying that this one... what's the word? This one couldn't be monetized because it wasn't suitable for some advertisers or something like that. But there was a way that you could click on it to say, I want to question this, and to get a human to review it. So I did click on that, and then I got an email back yesterday saying, we've reviewed the video and it's fine and monetization is back on. So it was just interesting to see that was that you know, they do have this automation in place to pick up things that may have fallen foul of their advertising rules. But as it was fine. I got it checked and it was okay. But it did just make me. I wondered at first, was that something to do with the fact that I was talking about downloading videos that YouTube didn't like, and thought maybe not. But anyway, it was all right in the end. So let's have a little look at some more of this analytics, if that is of any interest to any of you. In fact, let me just check on the comments first of all. Yeah, absolutely getting the pedals, but I haven't found an Elgato partner in Singapore that is offering them yet. Yeah, that's the same for me here. And if I go to the Elgato website, then it tries to redirect me to somebody in my local area that's selling them. But alas, nobody is just yet. We'll get them eventually. We're in the future, but we're also sometimes in the past, it feels. So let me have a little look. Yeah, they did sell out pretty quick, even in the US. So you got one of the off-brand ones as well, did you? Yeah, they do work. They're really, I mean, like I say, I'm using them now. I can hide your comment with them. I can switch back to my main scene. I can flip back to this scene, or with the foot pedals. So they are good. I can definitely vouch for that. And yeah, of course, classic use case is for musicians. Just coming back to who was it who asked? Let me just have a little look. Oh, Andreas. Yeah, so for musicians, I know that David Hunt was in there as well, with being a piano player. So yeah, definitely a use case for doing things on your computer whilst playing your musical instrument. So yeah, and oh, thanks, Carly. So let's have another little look further into here, because it's this one that I'm going to be sort of focusing on, really. And so this is the revenue. So as I do my weekly updates, I'll be sharing this with you. And so, funnily enough, the week where I posted more videos, then the ad revenue went up. Isn't that a surprise? Because my views went up. So it was kind of these spikes. By the way, this was where there was either a super chat or a super sticker during my live stream. So this one, and then this peak here, and this peak here. But you can see that in between that, the line was generally, look at that, around about $2.50 a day, something like that. Some days a little bit more than that, but then yeah, the last week it's been more like sort of $3, $4, $5, and $6 a day. So as you can see, I'm not going to sit back and retire yet. Haven't quite got the money to buy my island yet. Unless it's just a little mound of soil in a puddle or something like that. Yeah, I just want to share this with you on an ongoing basis, just because a lot of people talk about how you know, the money that you get from YouTube ad revenue is nothing compared to other sources. So I will be doing a full update on my other revenue sources that I generated from the channel. So when I reached 1,000 subscribers, I did do this in my my live stream at 1,000 subscribers, but basically in 6.5 months of being on YouTube, up until the point where I got technically monetized on YouTube, the revenue that I generated through the channel was around about $6,500. So it averaged about $1,000 a month, something like that. But that's not all just from, I mean, it was from things like Buy Me a Coffee. So yeah, I should obviously say, if you're liking this stream, then don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to, and why not head over to my Buy Me a Coffee page to support the channel on a ongoing or one-off basis. But that is basically, when I talk about this revenue, it's come from things like that. Oh, thank you very much, Eileen. Now, why did my little widget not work? Thank you very much, Eileen. It's much appreciated. I'm just wondering. I know why my widget didn't work. I actually set. So I've been saying this since I had my first super chat or super sticker. I've been saying that I need to get my widget set up so that I get a little notification actually on screen when somebody goes to the super chat or super sticker. And I did set that up, but then I've just realized that where it is it's part of this group for my little live stream lower third at the bottom. So this actually contains my stream elements. Is it stream elements? Stream elements widget in the top corner. So I'm sorry I didn't have that active. Otherwise, it would have popped up with a nice little blink. I've got to make my own little animations because I'm just using the stock ones there from Stream Elements. So definitely need to get my game up on that one. But thank you very much, Eileen. That is much appreciated. So I've lost my train of thought a little bit there. So I was talking about the revenue. So it's come from things like Buy Me a Coffee, but then it is also from things like my calls that I do. So people can book consultation calls with me either through Buy Me a Coffee. So on my Buy Me a Coffee page, there's a place where you can go and book a call with me, and that just all automated through Calendly and Zoom. But then I did have a couple of people actually said that they would like the ability to be able to book these calls, but without going through Buy Me a Coffee. So they didn't want to be prompted to give their name and email address to Buy Me a Coffee to book a call with me. So I also added it onto my website as well. So on takeonetech.io, on the contact, or in fact in the top menu, there is also consultation, and so people can book it through there. So when I talk about the revenue that's come so far from the channel, it's not all just sort of passive revenue. There is some of that is through calls and little ad hoc freelance jobs and things like that that I've done as part of that as well. So it's not just sort of totally passive revenue as you might get from the ads. Although that's not passive, is it? Let's be fair. I mean, it is once you've made the videos, but you've still actually got to get out there and make them. So that is just a little update. So anybody who wants to join, by the way, now that I've got that up there, takeonetech.io/join if you want to come on and have a little chat about anything that's happened this week. The Stream Deck pedals, the release of the Ecamm Live beta, which, what was the main feature that they added in this week? That it's totally slipping. There was actually 3 betas. There was the first one, and then half an hour later, or it's actually beta 3. Then about half an hour later, there was beta 4 when they fixed a quick bug, and then there was another one that came out a little bit later. So we're up to Ecamm Live version 3.10 beta 5. But what was it that they added in? I'm forgetting now. If only I'd made a video about it. Well, I did, but feels like that long ago now that I've forgotten. I'll tell you what it was. It was being able to play sound effects over the top of music without actually ending the music. So previously on Ecamm, then if you started one audio file, then it would stop the one that had been playing. So they've done a nice bit of coding actually with that, so that basically if you are playing music, it will kind of figure out that it's a longer piece of audio, and so it will just keep playing that if you play a short audio clip over the top of it. So that's quite a nice little, as I say, nice little bit of coding that they've done there. Whereas if you've got a long piece of music playing and you click to start another piece of music, then it kind of figures out that you obviously want to stop the other one so you don't have 2 pieces of music playing over each other. So that was one thing. And then the other thing that they added was some text alignment tools. So justifying left and right would keep things centered. Keep things aligned within the text boxes, so just made those work a bit better. I'm betting Anna was the one that asked for that. Anna and Fulgence from Building Blocks. You can thank them probably for most of the, certainly most of the text related things that they've asked to have added in, and they do some pretty amazing stuff with it. But I digress once again. Squirrel. Let's have a little look where we're at with this. So if I come into the revenue section, so it does actually tell you by video basically, and you can see that over the past month, then that video that I mentioned earlier, why profiles are better than folders, is my highest video from just purely advertising revenue alone. So although this one technically here we've got one here with $16, but that was my first live stream where I did get a super chat and a super sticker on that one, so that's included in that sort of revenue. But this one here, $10, is basically just revenue from that video that I made back in June last year, about the folders and profiles. And then you can see on a video by video basis. So this is going to be interesting to watch going forward. Obviously, my overall channel is still really quite small, isn't it? Let's be honest. So I'll obviously have some more meaningful feedback and information to share with you all over time with this. And then you can still see the ad types here. So I've talked about this before. Let me just make this a little bit bigger, shall I? So you can maybe see it. That might help. So the ad types Skippable ads still pretty much 90% of the revenue. Non-skippable ads 5.6. Bumper ads and display ads. When I go through, I'm definitely going to be taking these ones out because I'm not a fan of those. I'm not really a fan of non-skippable ads either, so I'll probably just remove those ones as well. And then let's have a look here. So ad revenue, $83 from ad revenue. And then from YouTube Premium, which is obviously people who are on Premium, then the creator still gets some of that as well. So it's 83 and 10 for that. And then this is 22 from things like super stickers and super chats and so on. So as I say, all very low numbers just at the moment, but still. It's just interesting to see because, as I say, I think a lot of people don't really share this information, so I thought it might be interesting for you all. So what other little nuggets of information can we glean from these things? If I have a look at my my audience, that's pretty much the same as it's always been in terms of demographics and things like that. Obviously, you can see the blue is new viewers to the channel, and then the purple is returning. So that they've been pretty consistent. But obviously now, with me posting more videos this past week, then returning viewers, I've got more to return for. So that's accounted for the higher numbers this week. Just the people who are subscribing, watching the videos that I've put out. Other channels that your audience watches. This is interesting. So Ecamm Live. Obviously makes sense. Tom Buck, of course, makes total sense. The master himself. I wish I had the time and the artistic ability to create thumbnails like Tom. He has got, without a doubt, in my mind, the nicest thumbnails in the business. And I'm not talking about the ones on his thumbs. They are so nicely done. I really love his whole style and aesthetic. He's an all-round nice guy as well. Alpha Gaming, live streaming pros, and Nutty. So Nutty is someone who does Stream Deck stuff. I'd never actually seen his things until I saw this. Until I saw it up here. It's not somebody that I've watched before, but obviously there's a lot of Stream Deck stuff on there. So yeah, and then who else? Think Media makes sense. Doc Rock, the master himself. Epos Vox. Now, I follow him, Addy, on Twitter, and I got a notification up today saying that he'd posted something new, and it was just the letter W, and I thought, do I need to actually be notified about that? But anyway, Aaron Parecki. I don't really watch Aaron's stuff, actually. I should probably go and have a check out his stuff as well. This one is interesting. This is when your viewers are watching on YouTube, and so I've got this sort of hotspot, which is basically around about midnight, my time, this is, in Wednesday and Thursday. And I've always thought about doing a second live stream, which is something a little bit different to that. And so if I do, that may be the time. But I'm just not sure I can bring myself to get up 3 hours early at midnight. It seems like I mean, I could stay up for it, but that would really totally wipe me out. So if I was going to do it, I'd just be getting up early for it. But I'm not sure I'm that that desperate to hit the optimum time, to be honest. But I might do one at sort of 3 a.m., 4 a.m. my time. In fact, that's still quite a hot spot there, isn't it? Or Tuesday, 5 a.m. my time. That might be the time. We'll have to see if I do something different. I have got a few ideas for another live stream where it'd be, because this is usually sort of my channel update, but I do fancy doing something a little bit more sort of focused as well, on some specific topics and things like that. So that might be when I do that. Top Geographies is still predominantly, as you can see, US. At pretty much 40%. So that's why I often talk about things in US terms. It is interesting, though, to see all the different countries. I say it's interesting. It might not be interesting to everybody. It always makes anything to do with data, I find fascinating. So apologies if this is boring. But there you go, all the different countries and the percentage of people that are watching in those countries. Yes, anyway, I digress. And by the way, there is a lot. I mean, when I go through these things on the channel, there is just the figures that you get up here. So all these sorts of things like unique views, subscribers, and all that sort of stuff. But then you can also dig into those in a bit more, like I just did. So this see more, and then you'll get lots more information about each one of those. So there is quite some depth to the analytics that you can do on YouTube. as there is in anything these days. YouTube, Facebook, Google, whatever. There's no end of data. So yes, let's have a little look at what else we've got here. Audience and engagement. The other thing, by the way, about the conversion rates, let's have a little look at that, because in fact it's reach. My average conversion rate from videos in terms of this one, where you see the how many impressions of the video and then what the click-through rate was. So it should show me the percentage. There you go, 3.9% click-through rate. So if the thumbnail is displayed somewhere on YouTube, then on average 3.9% of people actually click through, or 3.9% of views are clicking through, not click-throughing, that's not a word, clicking through to go and watch the video. Whereas with that one about the Stream Deck pedals, it was something like 11%. So in the first day that it was up, because obviously it was more of a hot topic, I suppose. But I do like just having a look at these. I've got no idea, by the way. I haven't got as far as doing some in-depth research into what is typical for other people's thumbnails. And so, yeah, definitely some room for research there. There's a great tool in Tubebuddy, actually. Let's have a little look at this. If I go into, where is it? Click Magnet, get started. And then in here, there's a thing that you can basically analyze. I suppose it's poorly performing thumbnails, because it tells you which in fact, when it comes up, let's have a look at this one, CTR opportunities. So this one, it will tell you, basically it's looking for where there is a video that once people get onto it, there is high engagement. However, the click-through rate on the thumbnail is low. So it's showing you where there is an opportunity that if you could improve your thumbnail, then maybe it would get more people into what is otherwise a good performing video. So you can see on here, this is, well, I'll have to update this one. So last week, it wasn't this week, it was the week before, wasn't it? I was on Alison Sheridan's podcast, which was a real pleasure chatting with Alison. I've been listening to her stuff since I became a Mac user 16 years ago, in fact. So it was really lovely to go and have a chat with Alison. But you can see here, the click-through rate on that particular video was only 2.16%. And yet the opportunity here is saying it's very high because of the the low click-through rate versus the engagement that people had once they got onto the video. So this would be an ideal opportunity to create a split test of the thumbnail. And then I've got some other ones here. A lot of them are Vlogmas ones, really, but that makes sense because people see it as a Vlogmas video with me dressed as a, or not dressed, photoshopped, I should say, as a silly Santa. So those didn't have a high click-through rate, but I didn't expect that, to be honest, because it's not my regular content, is it? And some of those were a little bit silly as well, those Vlogmas ones. So yeah, it's interesting to just be able to go through here. And you can, like within here, if I click on Create A/B Test, then basically that is opening up another page. And just let me just log into TubeBuddy. In fact, while that's loading, I should say, TubeBuddy is a great service to use if you are a YouTube creator. It's basically sits in your YouTube studio and almost becomes part of the YouTube interface. And I find it really useful even on the low-cost version or the free version. I think there's a free version you can try at least. But then even on the lower cost, if you're at less than 1,000 subscribers, it's half price. So it ends up being like $3 or $4 a month, something like that. You can get a free trial at takeonetech.io/TubeBuddy. And it basically has acted as my coach, basically, as I'm going and uploading my videos, giving me tips on not so much the thumbnails in that sense, but it tells me the descriptions, the tags, that's the word I was looking for, and various different other things, and gives you sort of a checklist to go through. But then they've got all of these other tools, like the tool that we're looking at now. And so head over to takeonetech.io/TubeBuddy to get your free trial. So yeah, that's TubeBuddy. So by clicking on this Create A/B Test here, what it's done is it's just opened up the regular TubeBuddy website, And here it's loaded up that video, and all I would do is just create a second thumbnail and drop it on here, and then run a test on it. And you can also do tests on things like metadata as well, so the description, the title, stuff like that. Bear in mind when you are doing any sort of split testing, then just stick to one thing at a time, so that you know exactly what is causing any changes to the results you're getting. But yeah, I should definitely go through and have a look at all these poorly performing thumbnails and see if I can do some split testing to get some better opportunities out of those. So that's while we're just in here though. There's also this one, Element Inspector, which I always find interesting. You can have a look at, this is comparing my thumbnails that have got a face versus no face on them. Well, all of mine have my silly face on it, to be honest, so that's not quite as relevant. But then here you've got the emotions. Now, let me just have a little look at this, because this appears that, that's funny, that is. It seems like today, for some reason, having just done a thing, this is not actually picking up my different emotions. That is interesting. I've not looked in this for a little while, but normally that will tell you which emotions are generating the best results. I don't know why that's not working, that feature, at the moment. I shall come back to that. I did make a video about how to use it, as you can imagine, but for some reason it's just not working today. I'll just move swiftly on as if that didn't happen, shall I? And then you've also got some other advanced analytics. But yeah, I really do love Tubebuddy. The way that it just sort of sits in here, it almost, as I say, looks like part of the YouTube interface. It pops up in other different places. In fact, that one where we were looking at the audience, this one here is the YouTube interface, but this bit down here is the Tubebuddy interface, and that's the bit that is actually telling you specifically which time is working. So the upload time, it's telling me that the best time to upload my videos is weekly. For weekly is on a Tuesday at 12 a.m. midnight. So I'm obviously aiming for a video a day, so that is not quite so relevant, but certainly the time would be useful, because here you can see down at the bottom it tells you all of the different times. And then here you've got also for live streaming, if that's any different, and it does look like it's ever so slightly different, so only that one's changing, but that's basically based on when your audience is online. So there we go. So thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I really enjoyed chatting with Alison. It's funny when you've been listening to somebody for so long in podcasts and then get to speak to them. It feels like you're speaking to someone you already know, although obviously she didn't know me, but I felt like I knew her really quite well. It's quite strange. Thank you, Carly. I'm going to try and squeeze a few more of those in when they're relevant. And I do have the legend level, and I'll be honest with you, I slept on that for ages. I had the lowest level for 4 months, was it? Something like that. I'll tell you when it was. It was at Leap into Live Streaming with Ecamm Live, their event that they did. And they had a promo on Tubebuddy where you could get 3 months of Legend, a trial of that. So previously, as I say, I'd just been using the lowest version, and it was because I was less than 1,000 subscribers, it was like $4 a month, something like that. And Legend was kind of like, what was it, $40 or $30? I can't remember exactly offhand now. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, I thought at the time, do I really need to go for Legend? But then I got the free trial, and one of the first things I did was use the Find and Replace tool to go and add in my Amazon affiliate links to all of my previous videos, and I'd got 160 or something at the time, or 150, whatever it was, and just being able to do that find and replace and add in those Amazon affiliate links to all of my existing videos, my revenue from Amazon went up by more than the cost of Tubebuddy. So I kind of figured, well, it's paid for itself now, and then I started digging into all the other things you can do with Legend, like the A/B testing, the things that we were just looking at there as well, looking at opportunities. And I figured that probably as the channel grows, it's the sort of thing that is just going to be a no-brainer and pay for itself. So I would definitely recommend, if anybody's not using TubeBuddy Legend, then try it out. You can get a trial and give the features a go and have a little dig into it and have a look at the various videos. I've got a few videos on TubeBuddy. In fact, I've got quite a few shorts on TubeBuddy as well. I did a series of shorts about it, so just little 1 minute chunks that you can go and get an idea of what you can do with that level. And there's obviously loads of great YouTube content all about TubeBuddy as well. So yeah, some of those other features though are definitely worth the cost in my mind. So so that is that. And yeah, it's funny as well, Jeff, because that whole thing with Alison came about because she'd watched one of my or some of my Stream Deck videos, and then she went onto my Buy Me a Coffee page, and I just recognised her handle, which is Podfeet. So her podcast network is called Podfeet, and so I just noticed that Podfeet had bought me a coffee, and I said, "Hey, is that Alison?" And she responded and said yes, and was kind of surprised that I had knew who she was, and then said, you know, she invited me to go and have a chat on the podcast. So I was really happy about that and the way that that all worked out. And then I found out not long after that when Doc said, you know, oh, I've seen that you've been on Alison's podcast. He said, oh, I told her about your channel when she told me she'd got a Stream Deck. So once again, I've got to say, as always, thank you to Doc. It's because of him, as are most things that go well for me these days with my YouTube channel. A lot to thank that man for. So where were we? So let's have a little look, shall we, at some of the other things while I'm still talking about TubeBuddy. I'll tell you one thing I haven't used. So I haven't really dug into this too much in TubeBuddy, but they do also have this keyword explorer. I'm sort of not really sure about keywords, and this thing can do all sorts of things about finding them, but it was actually a link that Eileen sent me to somebody from Google interviewed talking about keywords, and I'm basically not spending as much time as I used to with keywords. But you can do a keyword search here, so I could search for Stream Deck pedal, and let's see what comes up. And so you can do all sorts of things here. It'll tell you for the particular title there. It will tell you what it's like in terms of search volume, what the competition is like, and all these sorts of things. So there is some analytics, but as I say, I've not been quite as hot on keywords just of late. I've been trying to focus more on getting my timestamps in. That was one of the videos that I did this week. Actually, there was a plugin for Stream Deck which allows you to basically create a text file where you can add in timestamps. It's just called timestamp on the Stream Deck. So now I've got a button that I can press every time I want to add a timestamp to this text file, and it basically is just capturing then all of the and by timestamp I literally just mean the number 00:01 for 1 second, for example, and so I'm just capturing all those timestamps so that I don't have to go back and watch all of my videos again. So I've been, for the last week, I've basically been coming up with I've been doing a little bit more planning than I normally do, because normally I just sort of run straight into it. Let's have a little look. I just picked up on this. Watch that video from Daniel Battelle. There is a difference in keywords and tags. I will definitely go and have a look at that, Eileen. Thank you very much. And you use Keyword Explorer all the time and love it. So I've just I guess I need to go and reassess my information then. By the sounds of it, I'll dig into it. I'll have another little look. Don't worry, and then I'll report back. I do still put of course. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I get what you're saying. Yes, I'm talking about the Keyword Explorer is yes for getting titles correct and also the descriptions and things like that. And what I was mistakenly referring to there was from Eileen, where she sent me a thing about specifically tags. So where you can go down and add in tags for a video. So yes, I am wrong, because the Keyword Explorer is actually not about tags. It is about keywords for titles. Right then, so hashtag Alec was wrong, and hashtag Carly was right, and hashtag Eileen was right. I need to go and have another little dig into this, don't I? There we go. I've now completely gone off my my train of thought. Yeah, I think I'm going to get off now, and I'm going to go and just have a look at all of my my keywords. Yeah, I have lost my train of thought though. Never mind. I shall just plow on. And one great feature in Tubebuddy is that you can do Keyword Explorer, and I use this all the time because I think that keywords are crucially important, unlike tags, which are a totally different thing altogether. My secret's out, Rich. I'm a total doofus. I know it's very easy when you're selective about what you record about, isn't it? It's very easy to just talk about the things that you know about, and then people say, "Oh, you know quite a lot of things." It's like, yes, except for all of the stuff that I don't know. Yes, quite the doofus. Why do you think I never have my my wife on these live streams to give another alternative context? So yeah, what else can you do in Tubebuddy though? Let's have a little look. Yeah, it's this one that I was getting a little bit mixed up with. This one, the tags list. So I have got some tags lists that I've created. So when I'm doing stuff about Zoom or about Ecamm Live or things like that, then you can save a whole load of tags, and then when you're uploading your video, you can just add them all in. So that is another thing that that I do use to save me actually going through and adding the tags in manually each time. Best time to publish, that's the thing that we kind of looked at in here in any case. So this will tell you when the best time to publish your videos is. And I'll probably start doing this a bit more after my 365 videos in a year challenge is up, because I'm not going to continue doing a video for a day forever. I've decided after the 365 days is up, I'll probably drop down to maybe 3 a week, something like that. And what I'll probably do is pre-record them or record them and then just schedule them to go out at optimum time. So I'll probably be using this a lot more at that point. Let's have a little look what else they've got in here. Website tools. I don't think I use these. Oh, well, this is the stuff that is actually on their website. There is a valuation. I'm not going to bother clicking on that one, but there is a value because it's 0. There is a valuation. So as your channel gets larger and larger or past a certain time, then you can look for a valuation. There's competitors as well, so that this is basically where you add in competitors and you can do various different comparisons between those. I don't really know that I have those. Do you upload as unlisted and let YouTube process before making it public? I didn't used to, but I have sort of been doing that inadvertently. But yeah, I got a message from, in fact, I think it was Jeff actually, who watched one of my videos pretty much as soon as it went out. And it was like really low quality, but that's just because it hadn't finished processing. So there's definitely something to that. But I don't tend to, because I just tend to record it, upload it, do all the stuff, and then let it go so that I don't have to worry about it. I could just literally schedule it for 2 hours later. That'd be another way of doing it. It sort of happened this week because I've been filming my videos and then going and doing the school run, and I've been halfway through when my kids have got up. So I've had a video that's sort of technically been uploaded, but I just haven't finished entering all the details. So that's kind of happened this week, but that's definitely a good little thing to get into the habit of, so that people are seeing it in the highest possible definition. And yeah, that would be solved. I think after my when I've finished the year, my 15th of May or whatever it is, 14th of May, I think I am going to try and get into the habit of just actually blocking time to do like 3 videos for the week, and then just schedule those all out for the rest of the week. So maybe on Sunday after our little class with Doc, then get out my videos all then, and then schedule them for the week. So yeah, because I do also want to kind of reclaim my early mornings, that sort of time when I do my videos, which is between 4 and 6 a.m. usually. That always used to be kind of like my learning time as well. And YouTube has been a whole learning experience for me anyway. But yeah, after I finish my little challenge, my self-inflicted challenge, then yeah, just blocking out time on, say, 1 day a week to create my videos, but then have that time in the morning and reclaim that to do whatever it is I'm studying or trying to figure out on that particular day. It will be good as well. But anyway, this is all my own personal scheduling thoughts that you're probably not interested in at all anyway. So what else happened this week? I feel like there was something else that happened this week that I'm missing off. The pedals were released. Oh, there was a Zoom update as well. Yes. Oh, and speaking of things that have happened this week, I can tell you what hasn't happened this week. I still haven't released my Zoom course, but it's definitely coming soon. I have been filming more content for it, and that's the only bit that's left. I've just got to finish off making the videos, but keep getting sidelined and distracted by some other work stuff. So, hi, Michael. Great to see you here. The UK Michael. We all know what we don't know, but I've just suddenly looked from there to my teleprompter and now I can't read it. We all know what we don't know, but we'll not know what we don't, which is okay unless someone knows we don't know the stuff they know. Who knew? I know, exactly, right? Hey, Caleb, great to see you here. I just noticed you'd posted a stream that you did with your, I'm guessing your dad. I haven't got around to watching it yet. Sounding like vaporware. I know, it's terrible, isn't it? It's coming. It's getting ever closer. It really is. It's getting ever closer. I will have another week of focus next week. Great stuff. Chaotic but fun. Well, to be honest, that's how I feel about these live streams. My videos, I always feel like I've got a purpose and I know what I'm doing. But my live streams, I always feel like they're a little bit of a rambling mess, to be honest. And yeah, we'll see. I'm easily distracted, you see, and when I've got just a tutorial to do, then I know what I'm talking about. I just get in, do it, get out. Whereas with these live streams, I feel like I sort of ping pong all over the place. But hopefully there's something of use in there for somebody. So what else did happen? Yeah, it was just those updates today, really, wasn't it? This week, Zoom and Ecamm. Zoom, the thing that they've added into Zoom, has been in the beta for quite a while actually, but it doesn't actually work if. I know it was just a cunning ruse, Paul. It was just a cunning ruse to get some friends. So yeah, join the club, Caleb. If you had a plan of action and it went off topic, that's how I feel every week doing these live streams. I do sometimes have some little notes, like a rough idea of what I want to cover, but that's part of the thing I was saying about how I want to do another live stream on the Wednesday. I should probably just sort out the one that I've got before thinking of doing a different one. But actually having a bit more of a focus on topics each week. And part of this was my early live streams used to be like that. My early live streams, I used to go into it with an idea of something I was going to do and cover, and then I would go and cover that topic. And the reason I did that is because nobody was watching, because I didn't have any subscribers in the beginning. So I was kind of forced to do that. But of late, I feel like I've just been a little bit more haphazard with this sort of flow of it. And then it was really watching Doc's live stream that he did. When was it? Just last week, I think. Where he was talking about, in fact, it was the one that he was talking about with trends for 2022 and about bringing a little bit more production values into live streams. But what I took away from that was actually just his approach to that particular live stream and how he's done that on everyone since as well, where he has had more of a sort of focus to it, certainly in the beginning, because he's the same, has the little sort of squirrel mentality of getting sidetracked and going off topic and chatting with everybody as well. Whereas he's definitely had more sort of structure to it and getting some content done in the beginning and then the chatting and so on towards the end. So I definitely need to think about being a little bit more planned, I think, with these live streams. I don't know what you all think. It'd be great to hear, obviously, your feedback. But yeah, so just to say, Caleb, I always go off topic in my live streams. So you're definitely not alone. So yeah, there's some other things with Zoom actually. So this week, apart from the new feature that they added in, which was see how it happened. I already went off topic. I was just talking about this 5 minutes ago and already lost my train of thought. What they added in Zoom is the ability to add in videos into the waiting rooms in Zoom, and I think that is really a really good feature that allows you to add your own sort of custom branding to your experience when people are coming to your meetings, classes, whatever it is. If you are doing classes, then it's a great way to have sort of some pre-arrival information if you want, or maybe some rules or guidelines or something like that for how the meeting's going to be run. If you're running a meeting with lots of people who have never come to one of your meetings or things like that, then it's a good way to sort of prepare them for that. Or if you are, a company and you've got other services, then it's a great way to have something, maybe like a role of client testimonials or something like that. There's lots of ways that you can really use this. One thing that's a bit of a shame is that it is basically one video that plays into your waiting rooms. You can't change it on a meeting by meeting basis just yet. I'm hoping that is something that they'll add in the future, where basically, as part of the setup of the meeting, you say whether you want the waiting room on or not. And then you just have a place where you can drop in a video just for that specific meeting so that the messaging can be more specific. But nevertheless, it is still a great feature. Now there is also, I'll have to drop this in the description afterwards, because Zoom have, there's often an issue with Ecamm that people find. It's not an issue with Ecamm, let me correct that right away. There is often an issue that people talk about in the Ecamm group, which is when they're using their virtual camera in Ecamm and that it's going into Zoom. People sometimes say, the image quality when I'm like sharing my screen or having my sort of production going into Zoom, the image quality, people are saying the image quality is not so great. Well, there's a couple of things about that. First of all, in Ecamm, let me just quickly just show you this because it's worth knowing. If I come into my demo mode a moment, and so here I am in Ecamm Live. If I go into this output menu, you've got virtual camera there, so you can turn that on and off. But you've also got this other one, which is sharing window. And what that one is, you want that one turned on if you're going to be using, like doing presentations and things like that with Zoom. What that one basically does is it creates a sort of virtual output, if you like, a virtual window of your Ecamm output. And then what you do is in Zoom, you then go into screen sharing, and you'll see if you've got the sharing window turned on in Ecamm, in the list of windows that you get on the Zoom screen sharing, one of them will be Ecamm sharing window. The thing about that is it's not actually visible anywhere on your screen. It's just sort of a sort of virtual window almost. And so what that means is you've still got your regular Ecamm output where you can see all of your Ecamm controls and things like that, but you're basically getting a clean feed that can go into Zoom. One way that people have been doing this is that they'll have a second monitor and they'll have Ecamm going to that monitor, and then they'll share that monitor from Zoom screen sharing. But that's basically tying up a monitor, isn't it? So it's just this one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is that Ecamm have thought about it and have built that thing into it, into Ecamm. So that's sort of one way to get that higher resolution, because they do Zoom treats a screen share as a higher resolution than a video feed, because they figure, well, we can afford to sort of down sample your video to 360 or 720 instead of full HD resolution, whereas anything that's on the screen, you don't want to down sample that, because if you're showing like an Excel file, you don't want to see blurry images there. So that's why this thing of doing it through a screen share in Zoom is better than just using a camera. However, Zoom have now said that if you do contact them, then they will actually up your regular video quality as well. So that is now another thing. So I need to just drop into the chat in a little while after this. In the description, I'll go and find the actual instructions for how you can, what you need to tell them for them to go and actually do that for you. But that's definitely worth knowing. So yeah, that's where I am with my Zoom course. A little bit further along than last week, but not finished. But as I say, I'm getting back into my flow with things, and some of the other things that I've had going on in the background with my, in the foreground with my regular work, I've died down a little bit. So I've got a little bit more time in my mornings to get some of this stuff done. So yes, Zoom course will come soon. Yeah, back to the regular videos. Now, apart from that, I've not got a huge amount more to update everyone on today or to talk about. But if somebody's got any specific burning questions related to any of the sort of stuff that I cover on my channel, happy to answer those. Or if anyone wants to pop on for a chat about anything, how their week's going in the content creation space or anything like that, then you can always jump on as well and have a quick chat. Otherwise, I will be signing off quite soon because, as I said earlier, my parents are going back to the UK tomorrow. So we've just got a couple of days left, so I shall probably be dropping off early to go and get a few other things done before everyone else in the house wakes up. And what have I got planned for the next week in terms of videos? Do you know what? I don't actually know. I've got a list of videos. This week there was quite a few things that just happened to happen, like the Elgato announcement, which came totally out of the blue for me. I just literally heard about it from Eileen sending me a message, which now I know was on. I think I was just looking in the wrong place. I was looking in Twitter and it was on Instagram. So yeah, there was that video. Then there was the Ecamm live beta, the Zoom beta, and various other things. So most of my videos this week were just sort of reactions to things. I was actually going to make another video yesterday and I didn't get around to it, but it was about, now let me just get the name of this application. It was an app called Sharemouse, and I don't know if I'm going to actually bother making the video now. Sharemouse is, this came around because Keely, our friend Keely, FH Umpires, and soon Discord for Creators, which I'll be promoting the hell out of when it's ready. She was doing some stuff where she was basically using, let me come back a minute. She was using two computers and wanted to basically have one keyboard and mouse that she could share between both of them. She went and bought the Logitech series, and with Logitech, I made a video about this as well. You can have this thing, I forget what it's called now. Is it called Flow? Where you can use your mouse and keyboard between multiple computers, and you just sort of move your mouse to the edge of the screen and it goes onto the other screen. Onto your other computer, and I technically use that with my Logitech mouse. I don't often use two Macs, but I have been just recently for the Zoom thing because I'm having multiple computers joining into the Zoom call and things like that. So the Logitech one works quite nicely that you can move across to the other screen. The only thing is I am still using an old school Mac wired keyboard. With the Logitech software, it doesn't actually transfer that across. It only works with Logitech devices. One of the things that I suggested that might work, I don't really know if it would, but there's an app called Keypad. I did a video for this as well. Keypad is basically converts your peripherals that are plugged into your Mac. It converts, or it allows you to use those as Bluetooth devices, so that then you can link those to like your phone or your iPad or something like that, which enables you to just from the menu bar switch the controls so that I can just go and click a button. In fact, I've got it programmed into my Stream Deck that if I press a button, it then allows me to use my keyboard on my phone or on my iPad. So that's a great little app, and I wondered if that might work for multiple apps, multiple Macs as well, because it would just show up as a Bluetooth device. And she tried it and said it was not the best experience for that use case. So okay, fair enough. I accept that. And what she found was an app which was called Sharemouse, and this enables you to basically share one mouse and keyboard with multiple computers. And I've got to say, I've downloaded it and installed it, and it just works as you would totally expect. It sits up in the menu bar, and then when you click on the little thing in the menu bar, I haven't got my other Mac on at the moment, you just install it on two computers, and if they're on the same network, they'll recognize each other, and then you get to just organize the displays in much the same way as you would do in the regular sort of system preferences display manager. And then, yeah, it just works. Move the mouse to the edge of the screen, it goes onto the other one and works just fine. The reason why I haven't made the video is because there has been a feature which has been sort of pending in Monterey since they demoed it at whenever it was, the Mac announcement that they did, the Apple announcement, I should say. Last year, was it June time, something like that? And what they've called that is, I think, universal control. And the demo they did of that was amazing, because they basically just took their iPad, put it next to their Mac, and then moved the mouse over, and it just moved seamlessly onto the iPad without really any setup. They could drag and drop images across from one to the other as well, so that's something that you can't do with Sharemouse. Or at least you might be able to copy and paste, but this basically just, it treated the iPad or another computer just like an extension really of your working space on your main Mac, so you can just sort of drag stuff across. This is with universal control on the Mac. Anyway, they announced it, as I say, last year, but then when Monterey came out, it wasn't actually there, and it wasn't in the beta as well. But then I saw James Hicks posted on Facebook just yesterday, I think it was, that it has now made it into the beta. So that means that it is close. So I might hold off on making a video about Sharemouse. I suppose one point about it is it does work on Mac and PC as well. So if you're using a Mac and a PC, then Sharemouse would work across platform. But I am really interested to see the universal control. Yeah, it's different to Sidecar. This, Caleb. Sidecar basically is when you have your iPad, and it becomes an extension of your desktop. So therefore, you can literally drag your Windows, your Mac Windows from that. Sidecar is still going to be there. That's so that you can, as I say, you can use it as. I perhaps didn't explain it properly, actually. That is where it does become literally another desktop of your computer. What universal control is it's allowing you to still have the iPad as the iPad. It doesn't become an extension of your desktop. It's just that you can use your keyboard and mouse with that as that secondary device, as another device. But like, say you're working on a document, and you've got a photo you're working on a document on your iPad, and you've got a photo on your Mac on the desktop, let's just say. Then what you can do is you can just drag the document on the desktop of your Mac and drag it across and drop it into the document that's on your iPad running iOS. Or similarly, if you've just got two Macs, they're still individual devices, but you can just sort of flow between them. It's a bit different to Sidecar, but probably built on the same sort of technology, I'm guessing, sort of in the background behind it. And yeah, I've got lots of Russian spam friends today. I haven't used the just catching up with comments here. I haven't used the Restream Teams feature. I don't really. All I'm doing now for Restream is I'm using it to restream to Facebook and YouTube. I might just even knock that one on the head, because in fact, let me just have a little look. Have any of the comments today come from Facebook? I'm guessing not. I do stream it to Facebook just because I do get people who watch my stuff on Facebook, and so I figured it was a way to just get the video to go there. But I might just knock Restream on the head altogether, to be honest, because yes, hashtag Doc was right. You don't need to create disparate audiences on different platforms. But at the moment, I was streaming to Twitch, to Twitter, and all those, but I'd knocked those ones on the head as well. But no, in fact, it was Matt who contacted me and mentioned about the Teams feature and whether I wanted to try it out on my stream. But as I say, I just don't use. I certainly don't use the Restream web interface. Not that that's actually got anything to do with this feature. But yeah, so that was a long answer, wasn't it? So in answer to that question, Caleb, no, I haven't used it. Oh yeah, the timestamp feature is good. But you see, look at this. So in my videos, I've been using that feature, but then now in this live stream, I've completely forgotten and gone off topic. So although my timestamp file started at the beginning, and even though I talked about it, I've still not been pressing my little timestamp button. So this is going to be a live stream without timestamps. Mind you, I don't know quite how I would document all the sections in this video. So yes, it will not be long until general release, and it will be good when it comes, because it did look pretty awesome, the demo they did of it, and I know that they're gonna. Well, this is an Apple fanboy speaking, isn't it? I know that it's going to come out when it's ready, and it's going to be a step up from whatever else is currently available. It's funny how we Mac people we sort of say these things like that's what always happens. We just gloss over things like Mobile Me when that first came out. What was the music one that they did? Was it called Ping or something like that? I can't remember. But yeah, as Mac fanboys, we talk about all the successes, but we gloss over the the total failures, like the Mac Pro that came out, the trash can Mac Pro, or rather didn't come out for 4 years anyway. Really? 12.2 released today. So has that actually got this feature in it then? So can you tell my excitement? Are you saying, so I know that the 12.2 beta is out. Is that 12.2 has been released today? If so, that is great news, certainly for a friend in Canada. Let's have a little look. Keely will be pleased. So yeah, once she found Sharemouse, then she returned the Logitech devices that she bought because she likes the Apple devices and a trackpad. 12.2 is out, right? Well, that's I know what I'm doing this morning. Then I am updating my software. 12.2 is out. Excellent. I do, yeah. I need to implement that so it becomes a reflex. The other thing that I'd thought about with, again, after watching Doc's stream, there's so many things. If you haven't watched it already, go back and watch his one about 2022 trends, because it's more than trends, really. It's actually a whole collection of things that we should really consider implementing and doing in our video production and live streams. So it was a great video. In fact, let me just have a quick look because it really was definitely worth watching if you haven't seen it already. Yeah, one of the things that he was talking about was, or one of the things that I took from that as well, was getting a bit better at sort of repurposing content as well, because that's something. It's something that I don't do, and the reason why I don't do it is because it involves me having to go back and basically watch my my videos back and do some editing, which I don't really like doing. But if I've got some easy to find timestamps, I'm just going to drop this in the chat because there you go, that one. Yeah, it's if I can put timestamps into my live streams for little things that I could clip out. I don't know what I would clip out of today's, for example, but this comes back to me being more intentional about what's going to be covered in it. Then yeah, it needs to become a reflex that I'm just pressing it for timestamps, but then also where I can sort of take stuff out of it as well for repurposing. So that's that's definitely something. I've just come from the bottom up with the comments, so I've just seen this one. As an educator, I loathe Prezi, and then I'm just wondering, where did that come from? And it's Jeff saying, how many playing with Prezi? I was chatting with somebody about this yesterday, actually. I'm not going to be diving into Prezi at the moment. Firstly, because I don't have time to jump into another software package. It's a bit like, for me, Canva. I know that a lot of people rave about Canva and how easy it is to use and create stuff. And I've seen some people doing some amazing stuff with Canva. Michelle Lawrence from LBC Branding, for one. She's got such a great workflow going for creating different content for different places, and she'll create it for create a thumbnail from a storyboard that she's built for slides, but then she'll chop that up to make into Instagram posts and sort of Instagram carousels. It's just amazing what she's doing with Canva. So I know that Canva is a great platform, but I'm just still stuck in my like Photoshop and Illustrator ways, and so and even though Canva would probably, I'm an Adobe Creative Cloud subscriber, but I'm probably only using the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what I get with that and what I'm actually using it for. But it is just that sort of muscle memory of being able to do things in those applications, whereas maybe Canva might actually, if I just spent the time getting into it, it might be able to enhance my my workflow. Who knows? But I just haven't had the time to devote to it. And Prezi is something that is very similar to that for me, because long-time PowerPoint and Keynote user, prefer Keynote, but PowerPoint is sometimes it does need to be done as well. And the thing about Prezi is I like what their concept of bringing you into the presentation. So that's kind of a big thing about, you know, them, is they're always talking about, well, you know, you can create immersive presentations where you become a part of it. The only thing about that is you can do that with Ecamm and use PowerPoint or Keynote in conjunction with Ecamm to still be as part of the presentation. So I don't really do many presentations where it's kind of me talking to slides or anything like that. It's all not interactive. It's all more immersive in that, you know, they'll be using green screen sharing. So that was something I'd been hoping for and asking for a long time. But that enables you to basically just add Keynote style graphics and overlays and things like that over the top of your Ecamm Live, so that you can still have things just sort of flying in from the side. And most of the things that you can do from an animation point of view with Prezi, you can sort of do with Keynote as well. The one thing about Prezi that I do kind of like that you can't do with Keynote, though, is, as I get the impression, it is more of a it gives you the ability to do things that are a little bit more free-flowing potentially, whereas with Keynote, you've obviously got a structured order of slides to go through. You can jump around by using things like hyperlinks that you're embedding into the slides to just sort of link to other slides. But Prezi very much does seem like, you know, you can have it a little bit more conversational and dip in and out of different elements of it. This is me speaking, having not actually used it, but watching the demos. You can dip in and out of different bits of your presentation without having to go through quite such a structured order to it. But then, as I say, in Ecamm, in any case, if you've got using screen sharing, you can have your slides there and just sort of bring them in and out as needed in any case, as opposed to it being just a slide deck. You know, you're just in there in the middle of it talking about whatever it is you're talking about. So I'm interested to hear more, though, about specifically what your issue with Prezi is, though, Greg. I've got my opinions, and I just haven't got the time to dig into it, really. I've got too many other things going on to start to learn another package when, I mean, really, Keynote can do some amazing things, and the sorts of things that you can do with animation in Keynote is quite good. I'm not saying that this is great, but my title sequence, this one here, this is actually all just a Keynote animation. So yeah, you can do some animations in Keynote. Let's have a little look. Adobe created their own version of Canva, did they? That's interesting. What's that called? But again, you see, this is the same. I mean, there is new Adobe things being added all the time, but I've got this muscle memory with. I mean, some of the stuff that I use Photoshop actually more than Illustrator, and probably some of the stuff that I do in Photoshop I should be doing in Illustrator. It's just this ease of doing it in the tool that you know. But yeah, which one's that you're talking about? Because I'll definitely check out any new Adobe products. Oh, and it's free, is it? Ah, right. So you don't need it as part of the Creative Cloud. And Universal Control is scheduled for Mac OS 12.3. Oh, okay. So we've still got a little while to wait. Okay, fair enough. And Keynote has jumped forward with the new picture-in-picture capabilities. Yes, it has, Jeff. That is a very good point, because now you can actually bring video feeds into Keynote. So you can actually add it as an element in your Keynote. So that means that actually the sorts of things that we do with Ecamm, where you're actually adding overlays, you can actually do that sort of in Keynote. So you could have your video feed coming into your Keynote and then still add in all of the other stuff on, with Ecamm, still have it feeding into Ecamm. But you could just have some scenes where, the video's coming into your Keynote file. I think, who else did, I forget his name now. It's killing me. Michael Hyatt, he did a little video in the Ecamm group about that when it was first introduced as well, the video into Keynote. And the thing about that is, here's another thing. you can actually animate those little videos. So people who have been asking for, me included, with Ecamm, the ability to sort of move around camera elements on screen. So we have got, obviously now with the beta from Ecamm, we've got this ability to fly in the cameras. So you can have it so that when you change scene, your camera flies in and someone else's flies in as well. With Keynote, basically you can use if you've got your camera element coming in, your camera feed coming in, then that's just treated like any other element. So you can add borders and things like that. But then you can use the magic move tool in Keynote so that when you change from one slide to the other, wherever something is on the screen, you can have it just move to another location. So anyone who wants to do those sort of fancy cameras moving transitions across the screen, then Keynote would be a way to do that as well. So the big idea of Prezi is that presentations need not be linear. Sounds reasonable and even innovative, but the arrow of time moves in one direction. Yeah, well, this is my kind of thing about that. It's do I want to say it's gimmicky? There, I just said it. I feel like if you're doing something as a presentation and you want to control the message, then having a structure to it is not a bad thing, is it? And I'll defer to you as a professional educator about that. So yeah, if you've got a sort of clear structure, then there is use cases obviously where you might want to dig in and out of stuff, but with correct planning from the start, then that might not be such a big deal in any case. So I'm with you on this one, Greg. I think I'm not sold on it yet. Adobe Creative Cloud Express. Indeed, right. Well, I've not had a look at that one yet, and I'm guessing that's on the Adobe Creative Cloud. The consequence is that Prezi presentations tend to emphasize the app rather than the content. That's one of the things that I've always felt. I've always felt it's a lot about the sort of animations and things spinning in and out and moving. And yeah, is that actually enhancing it? In fact, somebody I was chatting to yesterday said that as well. Is that just to make up for the content? It's available as a web app, and oh right, okay. Thank you very much, Caleb. I'll check it out. So yeah, no, I haven't dug into Prezi either this week at all, Jeff. Have you had a play with it, Jeff? I just went on railing all about how I'm not a fan of it. Have you been digging into Prezi? Because I have seen people do great things with it. I don't want to be totally negative on it, and some of the things that people in the community have been doing as well have been great with it. So it'd be interesting to know how you've done it. I'm just thinking actually, Jeff, about how your mind maps that you've shown us in Doc's class, obviously. In fact, I need to just since I'm mentioning it, there we go. Buymeacoffee. I need to put his proper link up. Buymeacoffee.com/DocRock to join the Drop Squad and join us weekly for our calls where we chat about all things content creation. But Jeff, you did some great demos in there of your mind maps, and actually just thinking about Prezi, that's something that actually would sort of relate to that because of the way that in Mind Node you can just sort of drill down into a particular node of the mind map, and then it opens up all the other stuff. I can actually see how that could be really that could translate over really well to Prezi, especially because of the way that you present that as well. You present it in a really sort of fluid manner where, when you were presenting the mind maps, it was a case of drilling into this one and then telling us about all the different things that are in there. So yeah, maybe actually, if that's what you've been working on, I'd be interested to hear about it because yeah, I can see how Prezi would work for that. So let's have a little look. Adobe Creative Cloud, formerly Adobe Spark. I get it. Right, I had heard of that. Creative Cloud Express is formerly Adobe Spark. Been watching loads of tutorials, and that's well. I can to be honest, and that having said about Prezi and not being linear, I've just totally now thinking about your presentation of that mind map and the way that. That was very much starting from a root and digging into different levels and coming out, and so it does make it makes sense there as well, because although you could still give a linear presentation in terms of going through all the sections, building it out in that way would be very similar to the way that the mind map was built out. So you do start with like a core and then go off to different sections from that. And I can totally see how that would work. I'm now just eager to see. Whoops, a daisy, press the wrong button. I'm now eager to see your presentation that you do with Prezi on that whole mind map now. That will be awesome. I think you pretty much blew everyone away with that, by the way, when you did it in the group, myself included. So that will be cool to see. Yeah, so that is probably, unless anyone's got any other burning questions or comments, I'm going to, I think, wrap it up because I'll get on with the other things that I've got to do this morning and then spend some time with my folks before they go home. We'll miss them. But it has been nice for the kids to see them for 2 whole months. This is the longest time that they've spent here, in fact. Before pandemic, they used to come maybe twice a year, sometimes once a year, sometimes twice a year for a month at a time. But it has been nice to have them here for 2 whole months, especially after 2 years of not getting to see them. So, yes, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. So with that, I am going to sign off. It's been great chatting with you all, and I've learned a lot. That's one of the things that I started this channel for. It's not just for me to come and talk about things that I know about. It's all about what I can learn from the stuff as well, and I always learn everything. I certainly learned about the difference between keywords and tags today. Hashtag Alec is a doofus. I don't mind answering that. So another visit planned. They'll definitely be. Oh, a new subscriber. There you go. Look, my little widget worked. So great to have you subscribed, Magnus. If you're watching, or if not, then if you watch later, great to have you subscribed. I'll just answer this question though, Caleb, because well, Jeff, another visit planned. I don't know. We'll have to see because of all the restrictions. They sort of lifted the restrictions on travel to Thailand just in time for my parents to book it and get here. And then they sort of closed it down again and there was restrictions put in place again. So we'll have to see. Who knows with what's going on in the world. But maybe we'll go over to the UK in the summer. Who knows? What's the biggest thing that I've got out of this one video a day experience? It's not as easy as it sounded to me when I started. That's why I'm behind. The first 100 days, I did do a video a day and sometimes more, sometimes less. But there was basically the last 3 months of the year last year, I got a little bit derailed with other things. And so I got out of the flow of it. I don't have a problem making a video a day. The thing I've got ahead of me now is now I've got to basically make like 1.5 videos a day, if not slightly more than that, between now and the end of May. So that is going to be a little bit more challenging because I've fallen behind. But the thing about just doing it consistently, and part of the reason for me doing it was to actually get better at the process of making videos. And the whole reason for the 100 videos in 100 days, which was my original target, was just because Doc had said you can't sort of make any draw any conclusions about stats and things like that until you've done your first 100 videos, because some people do like 2 videos and then they start questioning things and all that sort of stuff. So I figured, right, well, let me just get the 100 videos out of the way and then I'll be able to assess the metrics. But there is certainly, you can see from where I've been consistent with my posting, you can see where the lines are consistent. If I just come back to my stats, I will just be brief here. Let me come back to my overview of my stats. And then I'll come into, let's say, this one, and I'll turn on to lifetime. Here we go. So, whoops, I need to hide that. There we go. So here I was pretty much consistent and I got the same number of views all the way along. And then this whole period here where it's been really erratic is where basically my videos have been erratic. So definitely consistency is the key. But also just stick at it and the results will come. The sort of uptake that I had in my videos, like the views and watch time and stuff like that, felt really slow to get off the ground, but just have the I know that you're starting your channel fairly early with it, I understand. So yeah, just sticking with it and being consistent does pay. So that is it. I'm gonna sign off. So it was great seeing you here, Orbs, as well, and Paul, great to see you as always, and Michael, our UK Michael, and then we've got who else? Jeff. The time stamping is most useful. Yeah, so I'll definitely be adding that into all of my other videos going forward. So I'm glad you like that video. Thank you very much, Caleb. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful Friday, Saturday, whatever day it is where you are. And for those watching on the replay, I will definitely remember to go in and add my end screen so that you'll see some other videos over here on the right-hand side. So until the next time, have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you all soon.